It wasn't until 1988 that table tennis became a formal Olympic sport, but it quickly established itself as one of the most popular events at subsequent games. At the 2000 Sydney Olympics, tickets for the table tennis competitions were the fourth most sought after. Something that's little known is that the International Table Tennis Federation passed a resolution allowing it to become part of the Olympics as early as 1937. However, the president of the ITTF, the overcautious Ivor Montague, refused to endorse the decision for fear that table tennis would fail to gain general acceptance. For historical reasons, the Chinese regard table tennis as their national sport. For several decades, the mentality of China against the rest of the world and the rest of the world against China existed in table tennis circles. Moreover, China has always had considerably more table tennis players than any other country. China's first world champion in any sport was Rong Guotuan, who won at the 25th World Table Tennis Championships in 1959. In 1971, ping-pong diplomacy transformed the international geopolitical situation. It's an achievement that no other sport can boast. In 2007, Chuck Hui, curator of the Table Tennis Museum in Lausanne, Switzerland, received a very special postcard. It had originally been sent by a European from Tianjin in China to Brussels, capital of Belgium, on January the 22nd, 1902. The few lines written on it testified to the popularity of table tennis in Tianjin at that time. 乒乓球至少在1901年已经传入了中国。 A painting, produced around the same time, called Beauties, depicts an early encounter between the Chinese and table tennis. An accompanying poem reads, "The venal breezes brush beside you, who are on two sides of the net. With light bat in hand, you send the bouncing star back and forth." Several countries lay claim to being the origin of some form of ping-pong or table tennis. In its modern form, table tennis was played as an after-dinner amusement in England in the 19th century, and subsequently it spread to other European countries. It was the appearance of celluloid balls that marked the emergence of table tennis as an independent sport and no longer a mini version of tennis. Previously, the balls had been made of champagne corks, but these scarcely bounced, while solid rubber balls were too lively to be dealt with effectively. In the mid-19th century, a wealthy American businessman offered a $10,000 prize to encourage the search for a new material to replace ivory and billiard balls. Attracted by the reward, an American called Hyatt invented celluloid. In 1900, a Briton named Gibb discovered some celluloid balls in a toy shop in America. The light, thin-shelled balls soon swept Britain. In the first manned flight across the Atlantic back in 1931, The pilot, Henry T. Merrill, stuffed his plane, including both wings, with 41,000 table tennis balls, in the belief that they would help him float in the event that he was forced down over water. The earliest table tennis bats were just small tennis rackets. Eventually, parchment replaced the strings. But even when short-handed wooden bats appeared with a cork and abrasive paper covering, table tennis still remained nothing more than an after-dinner amusement. It was only after the introduction of pimpled rubber bats that table tennis reached the level of a competitive sport. The Hungarian player, Roland Jacobi, won the first World Championships held in London in 1927. This marked the start of a period of European dominance of the sport. The most outstanding players of the era were both Hungarians, Viktor Barna in the men's game and Maria Metaniansky in the women's. At the 19th World Table Tennis Championships held in Mumbai in 1952, Japanese player Hiroji Sato used a brand new 7mm thick sponge rubber bat. With his fierce forehand long drive, he overcame the solid European chopping defense and won the first men's singles world championship title for Asia. The emergence of the sponge rubber bat added a new dimension to modern table tennis. Asian players in particular, such as Ogimura Ichiro, Zhuang Sudong, and Xu Yansheng, learned to exploit the advantages of the new type of bat. Various types of rubber surfaces were applied to the sponge. There were protruding dimples, intruding dimples, long dimples, and anti-spin rubber. The variety of choices allowed Chinese players such as Zhang Xulin, Liang Geliang, and Ge Xing'ai to realize their full potential.